Hi folks, hope you're okay. We're just looking at this book on liberation theology, a global pursuit of justice, and we're just going to read about Gustavo Gutierrez and just think about his understanding of theology. In the summer of 1991, Gustavo Gutierrez embarked on one of his frequent voyages of the United States. Although racked by a severe cold, he gave a series of lectures on liberation theology to a packed audience at Boston College that anticipated new insights from the founder of this new theology. A ripple of surprise was visible, however, when he was discussing his poor parish of Rimic near Lima, Peru. He emphasized in the parish he had never once used the term liberation theology, and spoke with great conviction that "I preach Jesus Christ, I do not preach liberation theology." In an earlier periodical interview, he clarified this by noting that theology was for his time, free time, while the primary vocation was a pastor of the poor. He continues, "In Peru, no one would think of calling me a Professor Gutierrez. The pastoral work is what I enjoy most. This is my primary function. I was ordained not to do theology, but to proclaim the gospel. I consider theology only a help towards that, and nothing more." Liberation theology is the idea of identifying with the poor and liberating them. Marxist ideas were adopted by Catholic priests in South America, and a theology developed that was trying to liberate people from being oppressed by political class, the wealthy political class in South American countries. In El Salvador, many priests and many church leaders were killed by political leaders because of the social identification and trying to liberate the poor, and so that's part of the context. And then liberation theology has developed and encouraged other theology such as African theology, feminist theology, and many other things like that. My thought about liberation theology is there is a number of great thinkers in liberation theology, and you can learn a lot. I think it's good to recognize theology is in a context. That if you're in a context in a South American country or an African country, how you do theology in that context will be shaped by the context. The problem that I have with liberation theology is it does tend to straitjacket the scripture with a political or social hermeneutic, rather than actually let the scriptures speak for themselves and allow the scriptures to give the agenda as to studying them in an open-minded way as to what they are saying. Liberation theology has taken political and social and the social sciences and used them as a hermeneutic on scripture and in theological reflection, and I think that is dangerous because it moves away from what the Bible is actually saying. So there are some pluses with liberation theology, but there are some very dangerous things as well, and I think you have to be careful. But if you're going to study theology at an academic level, you will bump into liberation theology, and it's a rich tradition. There's a lot of theologians in it, there's a lot of good thinkers in it, but it's also dangerous if you don't study the scriptures in their context and allow the scriptures to teach you in your context. Alright? Take care and God bless you.